Hey guys, welcome back. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and I don't know if this is part 2 or part 3 or whatever. I feel like I've been working on these cards forever. I was kind of doing a combined project, and I probably shouldn't have done that because it ended up really confusing me. But I wanted to come back and show you how I finished these off, because this is something that it's just kind of a new idea to me, and it doesn't mean it's my idea. It just means that I hadn't seen it before. I thought of it and I was curious about it. When I'm working on junk journals, we use a lot of like postcards, and then the back will be like a writing spot. So I thought, well, why can't we do our cards that way? I mean, we send postcards, or we used to anyway. So I had printed that one 8.5 by 11 sheet accidentally on a thicker cardstock, and it wasn't going to cut up looking right because it would have been on the front and the back because I messed up. So I thought, well, why don't I just turn those into postcards? So essentially that's what I've done. I've gone back through my stash and pulled out some old sentiments. I did cut some new little fillery stuff, used some old gems. These were actually from a paper pumpkin kit, some ribbon I had, and then I actually turned it into a postcard with a stand. So I did leave room for my label, but I created this stand, and I've done a video to show you how I make the stand. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I will. And you just glue down the center part here, and it leaves these little legs to open up. Well, I wonder if I've bent them too much now. It will stand up. It has stood up. But I'm doing something wrong. Of course, I added weight to the front of it because I added the sentiments, and I was a little worried that might change their ability to stand on their own. But for the most part, it looks like it's okay. So yeah, I just finished these 4. But while I was going through and finishing up all the cards, adding embellishments and stuff, I realized that somehow or other, I'm just showing you that they do all stand up. Somehow or other, I actually managed to make 3 what I thought were cards, and I just accidentally used a postcard. So I don't know how I did that. I must have just grabbed from stash and not realized what was in there. So I'm going to turn these into postcards. Basically, we're going to do the same thing. I've already added stickers to the back. And added my embellishments to the front. Could have added a little bit more, but and still might add some gems to that. But I ran out of the legs for the back to stand the card up, so I had to cut some more. So I just pulled some of my scraps out and set it up in my Cricut. I'd already designed the file. That's actually what I show in the video, which will probably be the next one that I upload, because I've already recorded it, as long as I didn't forget to turn on my mic, which I did on the last one. Yeah, real world problems here, guys. Wow, I thought I de-stuck my tape enough that it wouldn't be an issue, but apparently I didn't. So let's just peel it a little bit. I'm just going to pull these 3 off for now, since 3 is what I need. Set that off to the side over there. And I will remove my tape. My mat is well used, and so I hate to waste. And I've re-glued it once, but parts of it needed again. And I always like just to add the tape, just to be extra sure that whatever I'm trying to cut isn't going to slide around on my mat. Because if that's happened to you, then you know you do not get a good cut, and it may just ruin your project. So all I'm doing is smoothing out those edges where the blade tends to kick up the edge a little bit. You do not have to do this. I probably say that in every video. It's just, I prefer the way it feels to me. So We've got our score lines included. We're just going to fold these up. That just kind of helps me know where not to glue, because I do want to glue the center only. And like I said, if you're interested in how to make these, you can watch my video. It should be out hopefully in the next day or two. So I did ink the edges on these. I wasn't sure how I was going to finish them, but I thought the ink looked nice. And it was a little quicker, I think, than running everything through the die cutter. So now the trick to this is to find your center spot and to get a nice flat. You want the bottom of the die or the cut to line up evenly with the edge, so it's perfectly parallel. Now I've tried this a couple of ways, and what I found was when I try to eyeball it, I don't get them straight enough, and then it gets doesn't sit quite right, and that's what happened to that first one a while ago. So I know the center, if I've measured correctly, this is 5.5, so it's going to be 2 3/4. So it's going to be right there. So I will eyeball that part, but then I want to get a straight line. And the other thing I mentioned, I think I mentioned it in the video, you can line this up perfectly level with the bottom, but then your card's literally going to stand straight up. And if that's what you want, that's fine. But I think aesthetically it looks a little bit better if it's tilted back just a little bit, but that's personal preference. So that's why I raise it up just a little bit from the bottom, so that it's leans back just a little bit, makes it easier to see, because if you're standing right over the top of it and it's standing straight up, you can't really see it, can you? So let's get this on here and let's just make a little line. So that's our center point, and I just erase this afterwards. Again, you don't have to do that. If you are better at eyeballing it than I am, then by all means do what works for you. You know what, I'm going to use tape too, just because I don't need to. I haven't been, but I wanted to see if that'll keep it from sliding around so much on me, because it does tend to slide around while I'm trying to get that glue to stick down. So just center that up, put that bottom edge of that stand on the, see, it's sliding on me. I want to hold it steady. What I don't want to do is glue down these flaps, and so just making sure that those still come up. But yeah, you want to just line that up with your line, get your center line in the center of that, and that part I do eyeball. And then I'm going to come back and erase. Got a little extra sticky on that apparently. Oh, there it is. To get my eraser out, my glue eraser. So I think if I decide to do more cards like this, then I will probably make a little template here, positioning template, so that I don't have to keep measuring and marking. And what I would do to make that is I would make me a rectangle that's the width of the cards, which is 5.5, and then I would make it whatever that is, like 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch up from the bottom. And if I use the Cricut to make it, then I can actually cut that out so that I can line it up. So I hope that makes sense. But there you go, you can see it stands up nicely. So there's one. I've got 2 more to do, and then I will finish them up with some gems on the front, but that'll be all that we're going to do there. So hopefully I'm done with this video, or these cards for today, or you know, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. I've got myself so rattled. Like I said, I had like 3 or 4 videos out there that needed to be edited and put together and cut out, and yeah, it was, I need to work on one thing at a time. My days of multitasking are behind me, for sure. Okay. And that, can't really tell that the tape made a big difference, so I'll just skip it. Did get a big glue blob there. Alright, so then I'm just going to, again, just put the glue right down between those 2 score lines. And I'm going to line the center between those 2 score lines up with my mark there, as best as I can eyeball that. And I still slid it around. There we go. Try to move that up. Just bend that up so it doesn't get glued down, and do the same with this. Just being careful not to move that little stand on the back. And you see there's plenty of room here still to write, you know, a message. And what I will do is I will go ahead and put them in an envelope, just because there are embellishments on there. You wouldn't want these little legs to get caught in the postal equipment. So to me, it just makes more sense to put it in an envelope, even though technically it's a postcard. You could mail it that way, but I will put it in an envelope. So there you go. We got one more to do. So if you want to stay tuned, we'll do one more. If not, I'm going to add some embellishments when we're done, and that's going to be it for this video. So I'm just finding my 2.5 mark. Oh, I didn't erase that, did I? Let's see what we can do here. Made that way longer than I needed to, didn't I? But yes, I definitely will make myself a little template so I don't have to keep marking and erasing, and it'll just speed up the process for me. Get rid of those eraser bits. That doesn't look centered. Is that centered? 10.5. 5.5. So 5.5, it should be 2.5, 2 3/4. It's not centered. Don't know what I was thinking there. Another good reason for a template. That eraser's not really pulling that off of there. Must be pressing too hard. So see, I'm just giving it a little bit of a margin so it doesn't stand straight up. And again, that's just totally optional. Whatever you want to do. Again, we're just aligning it. We're putting the most bottomest edges on that line, and then we're centering the other line in the center. In the center of that scored area, or spine. That's the word I was trying to think of the other day. I've had one for 60 years. You'd think I'd know what the word is. There we go. And we'll erase. You know what, I should just try and use this one, see if it works a little bit better. I have several of these because I'm always misplacing stuff, and I like to use these when I do my Zentangle or Sandtangle or whoever you want to call it. Depends on who's doing it, I guess. There we go. Ta-da! So there you go. This is my new my new thing, like I said, I don't know if it's a brand new idea or if somebody's had it before me. It's very likely somebody's had it before me. But it's new to me, and I like it. I think you can make a card, still have a nice room to write. It doesn't take up as much, probably won't require as much postage, and it doesn't require as much cardstock. Since you get 4 cards out of a sheet of 8.5 by 11 instead of 2. And there's no scoring and folding, which sometimes goes wonky anyway. So yeah, that's my new thing. I don't know if, I don't know if it's my thing, but it's new to me, as I keep saying. So let's add a few gems. If you're going to stick with me, you can watch me add a few gems. If not, that's pretty much it. Might do a little slideshow of the other ones I finished. I still need to put a sentiment on the front. With these, I won't bother. I think there is not a sentiment on the front, one on the inside. That's the other thing. When you do a folded card, you feel like you got to put something in it. But with a postcard, not so much. And you could even print these out double-sided with lines on it. So if it makes it a little bit easier for somebody to write their message, I would do like a faded line just to kind of give them a hint of where to write, but that's just me. I don't know if I want to use these. I don't know why I picked these up. I do like the dark blue. This was, I don't know if it was a freebie I got from somebody or what. I kind of like them flipped over the other way because I feel like the edge doesn't get caught as much. But I don't know. Sequins aren't my favorite. I've got a lot of them. I think I'll save them for shaker cards. Let's go back to our other blings. I haven't used any of these yet, and these are a nice color. These are from Altenew, and I believe they were on sale, which is why I got 2 packages. So let's use some of these. Oh, I do have another package here that I wanted to try too. See, I'm like a little crow. I see something shiny and I get distracted. I can't see where the little flat, there it is. The little flap to open them, the little sticky flap. So there were some pretty blue ones that are kind of faceted. Oh, those are nice. Use some of those. I won't put all of them on one card, but oh, and then there's a smaller one. If I can get my fingers to work here. And it's differently textured. Are there any more of those blues? There don't seem to be, so I'll just put that one back. I have more rhinestones somewhere else. I just don't know. I don't know where they are. So I probably won't use these from Altenew then, just because it's a completely different look. So I'll save that and I'll go back with these clear ones, which came from China, I believe. Where are my... You know what? My glue keeps kind of erupting. Put my pin in there. I have some tweezers. Here they are. So set those 2 off for the other 2 cards. And then let me put this one down here. Get this package open. Now these are self-sticking. The blue one is not. However, I have my glue dots here. And I think that will work nicely. Let's see how to do this. Yeah, probably should add a little bit of glue too. Just, oh, and then I've gone and put my pen back in. You know what? Maybe I'll just, well, I don't know. So many choices. Okay, I kind of like this down here. And then we'll put some of these clear ones around it. Oops, sent that flying. Oh, there it is. Is that it? Yeah. I spend way too much time trying to figure out where to put those things. It probably could use a little bit more, but I think I'm going to leave it at that. So, what did I do? I put the other two up here. Alright, so it's a little hard to pick up. So this one, I don't know if this really needs a gem. I like it, but I don't know. Maybe down there? What do you think? Let me zoom in a little. Problem with that is then I forget to zoom out. It's too small for that area. Oh, I just don't know. I kind of feel like I like it down there, but you know, maybe there. We'll do it there. One little glue dot and a little dollop of glue. Now, I think I was going to put it over here. That's where it's going this time. And I'll put this up here. And this right there. Yeah. Cool beans. Got one more. Again, we need a glue dot. Those do seem to be holding really nicely, so that's good. Oh, I didn't figure out where I wanted this one. Well, I feel like it's going to come down here. Okay, I'll put this one over here. The clear ones are self-sticking, which is kind of nice, except I'm never sure if I should trust the amount of stickiness on them. Okay, there we go. What do you think? Probably could have added some ribbon back there, but again, I am trying to keep them simple but pretty. There you go. I like it. So those are done. If you're curious at all about these stands, I will have another video that I've already recorded. I just need to post it showing you how to do it. I do it with Design Space and my Cricut Maker, but you could do it with any cutting machine, I'm sure, as long as you can are familiar with the software. So stay tuned for that video if you're interested. I will also share my link to Design Space for that file if anybody is interested and would rather just use that versus trying to create their own. You know, different strokes, different folks. If you don't have to reinvent the wheel, why bother? Anyway, that's going to be it for the day. I want to thank you all for joining me. I tried to keep this one a little bit quicker. Hopefully we will not be seeing these cards again, because I feel like they've been in the last 3 videos. But maybe that's just because I've been looking at so many different versions of the videos. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully I didn't bore you too much. I do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you have a very happy, crafty day.